We have our next section, and I was just looking over the next four people who are going to speak in the next late morning. Extraordinary people, all four, and I'm so excited to introduce each one to you. These are people who have made a huge difference in this course and are about to make a bigger difference in the world. These are people who are up to really, really, really cool stuff. The first one I want to introduce you to is my good friend. My good friend Sheila James is here. And Sheila, you've heard from Sheila already a little bit today. And you've saw Sheila on the promo tape. And some of you actually know Sheila, but some of you don't. And you're about to meet one of the most exquisite women I've ever met. And it's just an opportunity for me to have a conversation, a public conversation, in giving Sheila an opportunity to speak to what matters to her. And a thank you, a gratitude for Sheila for being my friend and being here as we dance through this humanity thing together. And also just taking the course as dead on as she did for the 3 months that she was a participant before becoming, well, she was already a podcaster. And I think we've really stepped up her podcasting game. So welcome, Sheila James. It's great to have you here at the summit.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fred. It's such a privilege and honor to be here. I've been crying. I've been moved by people who have spoken and shared, their true voice, and then they're speaking and sharing it for all of us. You could just really hear what's possible in the world from this group of people.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary group of people and very, very moving.
Yeah.
Sheila, Sheila was a guest on my podcast, Welcome to Humanity. I strongly, those of you want to be entertained with a gorgeous conversation, feel free to check that one out. Sheila and I share a generational, we were born approximately the same time, and we were in approximately the same area in the country. And so we had a lot to share when we spoke, and Sheila and I know each other from before as well. But as a participant, Sheila, tell us a little bit about what was that like to join up with the True Voice podcasting crew, and early on, what were you hoping, or what was there for you? What did you see coming? What was it like when we had our first conversation?
Well, what it was like for me, I knew I needed to do something to elevate my podcast, Sheila Speaks. And I was kind of getting bored with it, but not bored. It's like there was something in me churning, but I didn't quite know what it was. And I wanted to elevate, but it was like putting myself in this class was, first of all, let me just say, I had no idea what came out of it was going to come out. I'm serious. Going in, I just thought I was going to deepen what I was doing and expand it. But my true voice, truly, I get moved when I think about it. And then I try to run from it as well. Mm-hmm. But, so it was like an opportunity to be with community. And I know that with community, anything is possible. And I said it earlier, when you get listened to be bigger than yourself, or bigger than you know yourself to be, you grow and you expand. And I was a point in my career and my entrepreneurship where I needed that. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was like for me. A blessing. I said all that to say this, a blessing.
A blessing, indeed. So tell us what you had kind of a somewhat of a bumpy pathway early on, and then you've sort of found your stride, and now you're speaking to, really what the listening is for you, who are you, and what's happened to Sheila Speaks and what's happened to Sheila James.
Okay, well, what's happened to Sheila Speaks is that was a podcast designed to empower, uplift, educate, expand, and I brought different people with different voices from different communities, which was rich, actually. But I just got stuck because, like I said, there was something deeper within me. So when I had a conversation with Sean, in the middle of the course, because I was struggling a little bit, because how when you're on top of something big, you don't always see it yourself.
That's for sure.
And when I shared with Sean, then Sean just says, well, what does matter to you? And boy, I let it rip. And from that, Sean and I, first we came up with solutions for humanity.
Right.
And we talked about that a little bit. And Sean said, but what it really is, Sheila, you're talking about ending racism. That's what you're talking about. Oh, I don't want to use that title. I don't want to do that. That's too much. It's too big. It's got too much charge. And I tried to avoid it. So I went out. I'm a master enroller. And I tried to enroll my friends into this Solutions for Humanity or something like that with some kind of ring. And they loved it. And when I came back to Sean, I said, Sean, I'm going to change the name. And then Sean said, you can't. But if you're straight and authentic about who you are and what you're about, that's what's going to make the real difference and cause the transformation you're committed to having. So I let go. And it is, and then I still keep trying to change it, by the way. Mm-hmm. But we're going to launch it March 28th on a Monday. And I'm going to keep Sheila Speaks for a minute until I transition all the way into it. So now I'm really taking on, a conversation to deal with what we've been dealing with race since not dealing with actually.
Right.
Since 1619. And I don't know if you remember, Fred, back in the day when we were going to end hunger, that came out of a seminar. You don't hear people talking about ending hunger that much anymore because people took it on. And we never took it on. We never completed slavery in this country. We just everybody just kept going. But the truth of the matter is, for me, my truth, and I have evidence, we never atoned for it. The nation never healed from it. Your ancestors, my ancestors, it was hard to be with. We wouldn't even tell the truth about it. We excluded it from history and said, let's just have a month. When the country, the United States of America, was built on the backbones of slavery, with people who didn't get paid, people whose homes were, all the things that come with it. But then we haven't given people the opportunity. Earlier, Antonio was talking about the prison system. Well, when you trace it back, it all got born, the way that got designed was from slavery to keep some of it in place. Now, it's so much, but then it's not so much. We just never dealt with it. So for everybody, whether you're Black, white, what does Dr. King say, Catholic, Jewish, it doesn't matter. You're impacted.
Absolutely.
You're freaking impacted, whether you can see it or not.
Right.
And so, as you see, I come to life when I talk about it. That's why it's it.
That's right. We do know that. And that's what's here. That's what's here for me as I hear you. Now, those of some of the people who are watching this don't know your pedigree, and you have a pretty rich pedigree of people that you grew up with. That you already mentioned, Dr. King, and that the whole crew out of Atlanta and up there in Indiana. This was a crew that mattered to you when you were growing up. Can you give us a little bit of a snippet of what you grew up with, and that you get to now carry the torch a little bit of some people who most of us have at least heard of if we haven't actually even studied.
Yeah, really great, Dr. Fred. Thank you. So I grew up, I'm the middle child of 7 from a little town called Gary, Indiana. And my father was a minister and he went to Morehouse College. But my father went to Morehouse College with some of the most prolific men, Black men in America. And he was a classmate and friend of Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Otis Moss. Some of you may not know Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was the president of Morehouse College. And he was the mentor to all these men, including Dr. King. He was good friends with Margaret Mitchell, who wrote Gone with the Wind. Margaret Mitchell actually, in fact, kept Morehouse College alive and afloat when they didn't have money because of her relationship with Dr. Mays. Dr. Mays and my father, as we go through his things, we're uncovering more. I had no idea how close my father, he was like a confidant to Dr. Mays. And then we had Maynard Jackson, the former mayor of Atlanta. So all these men used to grace my home. And so, of course, I adored my father. So I listened to him and I listened to ministers and I listened. In those days, you could not stay in hotels. So Dr. King would stay in our house all the time. Mrs. King and I became really great friends in our own right before she passed away. So I got to be, and then I went to Spelman College. And so I got to be in an environment that spoke to and talked about it all my life. And as a matter of fact, I found a post, my brother found a poster on the internet just recently about a boycott that Dr. King came to Gary and led with my father. And it was talking about sacrificing and don't buy anything from anyone for Easter. Trade your something for your dignity. Like, we're not going to buy if you're going to treat us this way. So it was really great. I had never seen it, but it was from 1960 and I was 3 years old at that time. And part of where I was suppressed was they got unleashed was when we kept talking about voting and some of the stuff we found in my father's stuff. And I'm like, I'm 65. We're still talking about voting? Really? No. No. That's how come I'm clear. We don't get the impact.
Right. We don't get the impact.
And it is still is alive, but not alive like a problem. I think it's an opportunity to bring closure, to educate, and to heal. Because now the impact is, to me, you know, and maybe the pandemic kind of unconcealed what was under the covers, but we're not in a good place as a country. And we all still live here together. So we're either going to live here together, as Dr. King says, as brothers and sisters, or perish as fools. So we've got a choice. And we're 22 years into the 21st century. And if you ask yourself this question, how's it going? Well, there's how you live your life daily and what's great, but then there's the world that we have to contend with. So that's a little bit about me. And so for me now, it's like just whatever fears, whatever had me suppress it. So it's just, it got unleashed in this course. And I have really, it's so amazing. When I start talking about it, I can't shut up.
I love it. Sheila, I do. I love it. It's a deep honor. Here's the thing. Here's the question I have. You know, here you are, you know, friends with Coretta, and Martin is, you know, the Reverend Martin Luther King is frequenting your home, and Moss and Abernathy and the whole team is friends with you. And this is what they stand for. You grew up, it was inundated, it was in your blood. And even then, you found reason to not be at the forefront for a while. You know, you found reason to not want to say end racism as being who you are. Like, you also, even with that level of pedigree, as a human, found yourself shielding yourself, you know, hiding, or maybe not going out there full speed. And I honor that you're here now. We can count on you to be really front edge. Who you are is ending racism.
Yeah.
But I would wonder if you can speak to that last phase you were in when you were still a little bit, you know, a little bit sketchy about stepping forth into this level of power you're being called into.
Yeah, you know, I actually did do work in transformation for over 30 years and managed the South, by the way, as a center for 15 years. But I think there was, there was a fear that people wouldn't listen.
Yeah. That
was a big fear. 2, there was a fear that I would be killed.
That makes sense.
Well, you know what? Now I got it. I'm gonna die anyway. That's the trick. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna get up out of here. So, you know, choose. And I think, I don't know, it's weird, but I didn't want it to be me. And everybody's been telling me that's who I am, but I didn't want it to be me. Why can't it be someone else? Why can't I marry a rich man and just go lay on the beach somewhere in Panama or somewhere, Hawaii? You know, you can still do that, but why you when you're big mouth? But why not me?
Mhm.
And so it's a kind of surrendering to my calling.
Mhm.
And it's taken me now. It does not diminish the impact I've had, because I have had an impact on the
Indeed.
transformation of the world, the South. That's how you and I met. I was in California for months.
Right.
So it doesn't diminish that. But now I'm the middle child of 7. So one of the biggest words I heard throughout my life was, I used to tell people I thought my name was Shut Up Sheila, or Sheila Shut Up, because I was told to shut up so much. And I did have a lot to say, but I told to shut up so much. So I might talk, I might not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But now I've transformed all that and done that work. But it's I'm actually excited about this opportunity, because I also am that we have, just listening to everybody speak today, I'm telling you, I've been writing your names down, expect to hear from me. We have everything we need. It's just disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
What Antonia is doing in the prison system, if we could connect that and go all the way back. I've had nephews go to jail and take a 4-year plea deal, which wasn't the truth, what they told, but that would save them possibly from 15 years.
Right.
So 4 is better than 15, but you know, it's just your life, just go into prison. Wait a minute. But that's rampant if you go into the judicial system.
I know.
And so we've, and now we're at a point, we really are at a catch-22. And I do want to say this, Dr. Fred, one of the things that really, where it really started to unravel for me was George Floyd. Now, what happened with George Floyd has been happening for years. It wasn't new to us. I don't know about you, but it wasn't. Just wasn't. It just got caught on TV. And everybody was home during the pandemic, sipping lemonade by the pool in the shade or whatever. But when my light bulb went on was that I saw the missing piece for me, like a revelation, was I wasn't going to listen to the sermon. Al Sharpton was doing the eulogy on TV. I said, oh, I don't want to listen to him. Because again, I'm always resisting it. But then I stopped and I listened. And I don't know what he said when, but there was a point where the light bulb went on. I said, wow, we never completed slavery in this country. It doesn't even matter what color you are. We never atoned for it. We never healed from it. You know, having sex with men, women, and children, not paying people for labor, excluding you from history. We just kept working. I mean, we finally got free and just said, woohoo, or whatever. So it might seem like drudging up or digging up the past. Well, it's like cancer. If you just cut the tumor out, that's not going to do it. Right. You got to get down there and make sure you got it all out. And people who recover fully get to the source and are at the source of cancer. We haven't done that in this country. And so I'm also doing a course on racism. That's when I started writing the course. Mm-hmm. The podcast came through your company. Mm-hmm. So now, since I've gotten that this is the podcast, I got freed up to do the course. I started writing the course over a year ago, and I just kept putting it up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But now I'm free.
Mm-hmm. And, given where you're at, if things go just spectacular, like, you gather the momentum that I know you're going to gather, you get the clan of the people, the clan.
It's okay. I got it.
My goodness.
No problem.
You know what it is? It is a problem. And let me tell you why, because our word choices matter so much.
Yeah.
So if the reason I said clan is because I didn't want to say tribe. And then when I didn't want to say, it's like,
because we're
audience, your listener, you have
to
be so careful.
Yes.
When we choose our words. And that's where the practice of conversation comes in.
Yes.
When you get the people who are working with you to be working with you, and let's say over the next 3 to 5 years, you get the world that you intended to create. What does that world look like when you're looking back from there, back here?
Here's what's really great. It's as to be discovered. It's so foreign, I don't know. I haven't had that world. I haven't experienced that. You haven't either.
No.
Even those of us who are rich and have lived a good life or whatever that is and all that. But you know what? We really haven't experienced a world where we're free and we're known and we're acknowledged and we're appreciated, period. And here's what's amazing. I forgot who spoke to it earlier. I wrote his name down, but the whole thing with music, nothing unites us like music. What do you mean? That's the one place, let the music come on. We're all dancing, we're up on each other, you're free, like there's an expression happening. I'm talking about that world.
Right.
And then our children and our grandchildren, you're starting to get more interracial marriages, way more. These kids don't have all that nonsense going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this country is built from it. So that's where the constraint is. And that's what's not free. If you've got it, and I'm going to say this, is when George Floyd happened, a couple of my friends in Orange County called me. And they were like, Sheila, is this stuff true? None of this was in my history book. Oh my God. Did you, they oblivious. So there's no even accurate, up-to-date accounting for the world you're living in right here and right now. There are products that people are benefiting from that we haven't benefited from, but produced it. So there's just so much. It's so much, yet I just think it's the context in which I want to deliver the conversation. It's not to make anything wrong. It's to get it complete so that we can create a world where there's imagination, invention, innovation, not read this or read that. There's nothing to read. It's not the truth. It hasn't been told. And it's that opportunity. So that's what this podcast is about. So, and it will be about, Sean and I talked about it, like my pivot might be now what? Every week. Now what? So we'll see what unfolds and what gets connected. So it's really from my heart. It's really from, honest to God, I was 3 years old and we're still talking about voting. I can't do it anymore.
I hear you. I know.
I can't. I won't.
I love it.
In Georgia, and the last piece I'll say, because I don't know where we are on time, we're talking about, then they were talking about, well, we're going to teach our children on gun safety. Oh, not the 7 and 8, the kids. We're going to teach them on gun safety because we're going to give everybody a gun. You know what? All you got to do is go sign up and you can get a gun. I'm like, really? That's the answer? Seriously? A 5-year-old brain, gun safety, and you think it's going to work? Good luck.
Right.
But my
Crazy
point
world.
is, but here's the thing. It all stems from back there. All the stuff that's been talked over or unknown, or I didn't know any of this. Well, I'm tired of it. And then there's an impact on us, an impact on you, an impact on society. So.
Well, thanks for taking it on with your heart. And thanks for showing us a bit of that heart. And thanks for being exactly you and such a great friend. Here's a warm hug for you. Thank you for being in the course. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being a world-class podcaster. Thank you for representing TVP. And thank you for really representing everyone. Totally great.
Thank you, Dr. Fred. You're amazing. And then you and I have a project too that we've got to do.
I know. We're off and running. Let's get that done.
All right. Love you guys.
All right, Sheila.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Wow. Let's give that up for Sheila James. You see what I'm saying? I look, I got to teach the course, but look who's been in it with me. I mean, it's like just so amazing. Such great people up to such great things, making such a big difference. And using this medium of podcasting and using this technology of finding their true voice to actually take strides forward into areas of the world that as yet have been uninhabited. That's where Sheila James is. Sheila James comes with a legacy that bar none, right? There's not that many people. Sheila's first dollar came directly from Dr. Martin Luther King. And I chose not to have that story go here because it's a beautiful, cute story. In fact, Sheila, why don't you take the mic again and tell us a little bit about that $1 bill?
Okay, so one of the times, so I'm the middle child of 7. And like I said, back in those days when my dad's friends came to visit, they stayed in our home. They couldn't stay in hotels. But my brother and sister, who's like, I'm 6, I'm like 7, my brother's 6, and my other sister's 5. They run upstairs. Sheila, one of Daddy's friends just gave us $1. And I don't know, some of you, if you're from back in the day, $1 could buy a lot of penny candy. And so I, ran downstairs and sat in his lap and talked to him for a few minutes. But really, it was all about, bring that $1 out, buddy. So anyway, he gave me my $1, and I thanked him and hugged him. But it was funny because, when you're a kid, for us, my dad was just my dad. We didn't know he was a dignitary. He's just my daddy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we didn't know half the things he did till he died, and we were putting this program together. We were like, wow, when did he do this? Right. But anyway, that was my little $1 story.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for the story.
welcome.
It's great. I could just see you
All
sitting on the Reverend's lap like that. That's awesome.
That's right.